Welcome back to the channel, everybody. If you don't know who I am, my name is Derek and I run a golf apparel brand called Public Country Club. In this series, I am showing other people how to start and grow a golf apparel brand. So if that's something you're interested in, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. On today's video, we have something a little bit different. As I started making this series, I've had a bunch of people reach out to me about wanting to start their own golf apparel brand, and we've had many great conversations. And I thought this one was particularly interesting, so I wanted to share the entire conversation with you because I think it answers a lot of questions that new golf brands or people that are just starting golf brands have when they're first launching, or how to move their first round of products. So the individual that reached out to me is starting a faith-based golf apparel brand, and he definitely had some concerns about challenges as far as like, is he niching down too much? Is there an audience for this? How to go through the inventory that he's already purchased. So we talked through a lot of those things. And if you are interested in starting your own golf apparel brand and just not sure where to start, you can click the pinned comment down below and it will take you to a link where you can schedule a time to meet with me. So if you want to get some ideas for your own golf apparel brand, or just have specific questions that you want answered, or just, general conversation to help you kind of spark some interest and spark some ideas, happy to do that. Just click the pinned comment down below, schedule a time to talk to me, and we'll hop on a call. Now, on to today's video where we learn about Eden Golf Apparel, a faith-based golf apparel brand that is launching right in Ohio.
Cool, man. So tell me a little bit about Eden Golf.
Yeah, so it is a faith-based golf brand here. Started it really this summer. So I got my polos in yesterday. So
Nice.
It's just really me doing it out of my basement right now, trying to build it on obviously all the social medias without making a huge fool of myself, because it's like I don't know. I mean, it's just kind of an odd thing and trying to get it out there and stuff like that. But anyway, so Eden, it kind of sparked from just, my love for Jesus. And I've always liked brands. I've always been like, hey, this is the brand I wear, yada, yada. I'm like, well, it'd be cool to have my own golf brand
For
and wear my
sure.
own stuff rather than paying $80 a polo for stuff like that. Now I'm spending a bunch of money to have a bunch of polos, but
Turns out it's way cheaper to buy polos than it is to
way
make them.
cheaper. Yeah. So it kind of just sparked, of be golfing with some friends or something, and they start saying the Lord's name in vain and stuff like that. And I'm just like, man, it's not his fault you missed the putt.
Yeah.
It's just like, so it just kind of sparked from that, where it's just like, hey, maybe if I wear this, people won't talk like that around me. And then kind of sparked like, okay, well, maybe they'll look up, because let me see here.
Yeah.
So like they'll have like a Bible verse. I don't know if you can see it on here on the side. So maybe they'll look up the Bible verse and be
Okay.
like, hey, what is that? So kind of sparking their own interest in the
Yeah.
Bible and Jesus and stuff like that. So you can probably see it better on the red one.
Yep, for sure. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I launched hats this summer. I got those in, I'd say like July or August or something like that. I still have probably about half left of the two colors. And I'm really just local, like where I'm selling now.
Where
So
are
I've
you
watched
based out of?
Ohio, like right in the
Nice.
middle of Ohio.
Nice.
So yeah, I mean, that's really it. I've had a lot of people I could go to church with, friends, things like that, buy stuff. I've linked up with a kid, or I call him a kid, he's younger than me, but he's pursuing to be a professional golfer. That's what he does full time. Like, he's repping my hats and stuff like that down in Florida and Georgia, yeah. So I mean, it was pretty cool. But I just got the polos in yesterday, so I'm really at that point of like, how do I launch this? So I saw your last video about like having pre-order. It's like, well, I've already ordered these and paid for them, so like that's out kind of. So like, kind of what I'm thinking is, I've got some subscribers on Shopify and stuff like that, so I can send emails. And for the hats, I did like early access, like, hey, you can get in here and order some hats.
Yeah, it starts small, which I mean, that's not a bad thing at all, right? So
right.
The cool thing is your market is very specific, which is awesome. Because again, it's one of those things where if you end up trying to reach everybody, you reach nobody, right?
Yeah.
So what was your minimums on those? How many did you have to order?
I ordered 100 basically
Of
50 and 50 of the two
okay, cool,
colors, but they
cool.
made a couple extra, and I'm not sure. I forget what it was.
Yeah.
So maybe like 105 to 106.
Yep. They
So
always do like a 10% roll like addition, which is one thing that I didn't know when I first started
yeah,
ordering.
yeah,
They were like, "Hey, you could your minimum's 100, then you order 100." They're like, "Well, now you owe us for 112." And you're like, "Well, how
yeah,
does that?" And they're like, "Well,
yeah.
we order for, larger. So, in
Right.
case of like mistakes and things like that." The beautiful thing is that at 100 pieces, like you're not going to sit on those long, or you shouldn't have
Hmm.
to sit on those long, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
the way to market it, and right now it's you just got the samples and you didn't get all 100 in already, or
No, I got them all
you got
in.
all 100. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
um so two things that kind of jump out that like you could do just to move those relatively quickly. First off, do you like the quality of them?
I do.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So,
So that's a good thing. I mean, like honestly, like you're light years ahead of everybody else that's just starting because they're like, I don't
yeah,
know how to get manufacturing, or I don't
yeah.
want to take the risk. And it's like, hey, that's part of the
Yeah,
journey, right?
yeah,
You have to take and literally take a leap of faith and
yep,
hope that it's going to be exactly what you're ordering or what you wanted.
yep.
Um, the beautiful thing is where I see you really excelling, and it's a good market to be in because the faith-based market is super loyal, and
Hmm.
they are super willing to support people that also support their beliefs and their journeys, right?
Right.
So, I look back at it just from doing stand-up comedy, like there's comics in the Christian, the faith-based market that you may not know of outside of it, but they're
Hmm.
selling out 5,000 seat mega churches, right?
Right.
So like there's a market there.
Hmm.
And so the biggest thing that I would do is I would find a list of almost every church or faith-based organization does a golf outing, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And that's and so like at least just to start, that's a massive opportunity to do two things, right? The first is, hey, can I sponsor a hole, where it gets
Mhm.
my my logo out there or my name out there? Can I send you a gift basket? And then the third thing is, can I come in and set up a tent, you know at
Hmm.
like by the first tee or by registration, and sell
Right.
this stuff, and I'll give you 10% of what I raise to go back to your mission or your ministry or whatever.
Hmm.
Like that's a massive opportunity, and you're sacrificing a few Saturdays by doing that,
Right.
but I definitely think that's worth it. The other way to launch is I I wouldn't put it all out there on the website right now.
Hmm.
I would start teasing it, do some giveaways, do some fun things like that, because it's October.
Right.
We're rapidly approaching November, and the fact of the matter is, people just aren't buying golf polos right now,
Yeah.
right? So,
Right.
so getting that spring launch or that early like March, when
Hmm.
the season starts to pick up here, I would just start pushing everything towards that, right? So you're
Yeah.
sitting on a hundred polos for right now, but that's
Right.
okay because at the next level is gonna, and you can do small drops
Hmm.
before then, like maybe like come up with a better hat, or like a different, not a better hat, but like a different hat or
Different hat.
something like
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean? Like,
And that's something I've kind of thought about too. Is like when I ordered these and got the lead time, like I'm gonna get these mid-October, and it's
yeah,
like this is the end of Ohio golf season.
sure,
So it's like, do I just sit on these for? Because initially, like what I thought was like, and I'll have to look it up, but it's usually roughly the same. Like, I mean, you're in Pennsylvania, is that right?
yeah, yep,
So like, same season. So like,
100%.
once the Masters starts, it's kind of like, all right, I'm kind of getting that itch
Yeah,
of
yeah,
like,
this
you
is
know what I'm
golf
saying?
season, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So like, I thought of like waiting until then, like that, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like launching maybe like on Saturday, like on Saturday of like, hey, they're all out there, when people start getting like that like
that
itch of
itch,
like golf season, or
right?
that's kind of what I thought, but I mean, that I just don't know what when to do it, because I thought that too. I'm like, end of the season, I'll probably sell some the people that've been like asking about them.
Sure.
I went to church with. He's like, hey, the polo's in yet? Can I get one? I'm like, not yet, man.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, and that's the thing too.
yeah,
Like don't turn down a sale since you
yeah,
have everything now. Like
yeah,
obviously go after it and sell what you can.
yeah.
Realistically, what's your margin on those? Are you about 50% margin, or 60% margin, a little bit higher than that maybe?
Probably a little bit higher.
Okay. What are you hoping to retail them for, basically?
I think 55.
Perfect. So let's just assume, because I don't want to, obviously your back end
Yeah.
is your back end and no one else needs to
Right.
really know that. But like
Right.
let's assume you're getting them landed here for 20 bucks, with
Yeah.
everything all in, right?
Yeah.
So that's awesome, right? And so what you could do now, especially right now in Ohio, if you wanted to make up that difference in price, because you have a couple $1,000s out right
Hmm.
now in unsold merch,
Hmm.
you could easily find 2 to 3 golf shops
Hmm.
where maybe the pro is a Christian, or maybe the assistant's a Christian, or they have a strong tie with whatever the case is with the church
Yeah.
or affiliation.
Right.
Reach out to them and be like, hey, I just launched this faith-based golf apparel brand. We're trying to break into this market a little bit here. I have some polos already done.
Hmm.
Would you be interested in purchasing 20 for your shop? Right now, at that, you're not going to sell it to them for retail. You might
Hmm.
sell it to them for, $30 to $32 a polo,
Hmm.
which is completely fine.
Yeah.
Um, but now you can get some pre-orders right now. And that's the difference between, like, when I say pre-order, it's so hard to get pre-orders
Hmm.
from people on Shopify to like sign up for your email list and then
Right.
actually commit to purchasing something that's not going to
Right.
be available for 4 months from now.
Right.
That's not how
Yeah.
we work as humans anymore, with
Right.
Amazon being 48-hour delivery, right?
Right. Right.
So when I say pre-order, I'm talking like go to these golf shops. Go to right now, especially in the wintertime, like this time of year, we'll be heading into golf shows like northeastern Pennsylvania, northeastern this region golf shows. So they're indoor
Hmm.
golf shows where like you'll see a lot of like travel companies go there that wants to sell you golf packages. There'll be like some golf stores that'll be there. You can buy a booth there and set it up. And I mean,
Hmm.
you may sell out of all 100 polos
Yeah.
before the season even launches, which is a good problem to have because then it's a
Right.
reorder or it's a, redesign and launch
Right.
something new.
Right. Okay. It's not a bad idea.
I would be willing to bet if you put in 48 hours over the next week and a half or two
Hmm.
weeks of reaching out to golf courses, just getting them on the phone, be like, hey, can I
Yeah.
just show you some stuff? You're gonna sell somewhere between 20 and 50 polos pretty easily, right?
Yeah.
So
You're right.
now did you personally design the polos, or did you pick from a stock polo that they had and then put your logo on? Both is fine, by the way.
Um, so the red one, it's just I would say like this, like your normal like floral print. It's
Sure.
quite hard to tell on here, but
Yep.
just I send them a couple like, hey, I like these. I like the floral design. Um, and sent it to them. They probably had a stock one they sent me, and I
Sure.
said I like the red, and that's what they want this. This one here was just kind of a combination of like I think I saw a polo like this while I was looking at designs. I was like, hey, I kind of like this design, and they're like, yeah, we can do that. I was like, great.
Cool.
So so I mean, I wasn't too much designing on my side as far as like I'm looking at other polos and be like, oh, that one's cool. Like I would wear that one, and then
So the two things it's going to come down to that's going to make you successful versus making you just another brand, right? Your designs, especially given where you are and what you're trying to do, are going to
mhm,
be so important because it's also delivering a message, right? Now
right.
imagine a design instead of just stitching Philippians 4:13 here I can do all
Mhm,
things through Christ who strengthens me. Instead of just stitching that on the sleeve, imagine if you had like a script um like micro print logo that said I can do all things through Christ who like repeating over and
mhm.
over and over and over.
Yeah,
Have you ever seen like the breezy golf? I'm sure if you
yeah,
watch any
yeah,
YouTube golf, Bob does
right,
sports.
right.
They have a print that just says breezy and it's just breezy over and over and over and
Hmm.
over and over again. Now imagine that with Philippians 4:13.
Right,
Now what that does, it takes your message, your literal message, and it makes it the actual piece that you're wearing,
right,
right?
right.
So people will buy for two reasons. One, they either like you or they
Hmm.
like the mission.
Hmm.
And then anytime they reorder, it's because they like you, the mission, and the quality of the product,
Right.
right? So what you need to really focus on is I would lean super heavy into the design part of it. You gotta, again, if you're gonna lean into the faith market, like lean all the way in. Like
Right.
leave no doubt that this is what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
And even something as simple as like you could have a hat that has Eden on the side of it, and then here in like big bulk lettering 413
Hmm.
or any other additional Bible verse. And what
Right.
you're going to find is you can have different collections or different product lines based on different Bible verses, right?
That's
So you,
exact. Yeah, that's the idea. So like have different, like exactly what you just said was this way the Philippians drop, and then
yep,
it's like, hey, we'll have because the hats are actually Romans 8:31 on the inside.
okay,
So like I did different of those, but again, I'm just trying to figure this stuff out. But eventually, what I want to do is like probably the next order will be like hats and polos that go together
I love
because
that,
yeah,
love that
because I think it was one of your videos of like getting them to buy. I think it was when you did like the polos
with the
and
hoodies and then
with the
yeah,
hoodies, like,
yep,
man, you get them
matching,
by the matching, you make two sales rather than one.
yep,
And I think I had already did that. And the hats are just I don't have any here, but gray and black, and it has the logo on the front and the Romans 8:31 on the inside. And I mean, they're sweet. I mean, we actually just traveled this weekend and I wore it around Florida, and the flight attendant, she goes, "What is your hat?" A lot of people ask me about the hat, so I'm
yeah.
like, I need to get cards made or something. Like, oh, it's Eden Golf Apparel. Look it up. And then, I'm brand new, so I said, if it looks kind of sketchy, it's me because I don't do this full time. It's like a side gig.
For sure.
Um, but yeah, I mean, back to your point, like that's the idea is like a different verse being different drops type thing. That way people will be like, oh, that was the Romans 8:31. Like hopefully,
Like each drop or each line is a Bible verse or each
mhm,
line is its own thing. And then you
mhm,
can do specific colorways in that line. You can do
yeah,
a white and a blue. You can do for Easter, you could do a drop for like around every
right,
major Christian holiday. You could
right,
have a piece that comes out. So like
right, right,
I think like you're in a really good spot because you know who your audience is. It's going to
right.
be faith-based golfers who also want to,
Mhm.
be representing you and representing the golf side of
Right,
things. So,
right.
um, I love that. That's actually really
Hmm.
smart, and I think you're in a really good spot there. Um,
Thanks.
and you're probably super well connected in the faith-based side of things right now, right?
Locally, yeah,
Yeah.
locally, yeah. Yeah.
One thing that sticks out to me is like I don't think, and this is where I'll be honest, this is where I failed last year because I was
Hmm.
in so far over my head just trying to get the brand kind of going.
Hmm.
I didn't create nearly enough content, right?
Hmm.
And every time I make a video about building a golf industry, building a golf apparel
Hmm.
brand, like I get 3 or 4 people that are like, "Hey, I want to talk. Hey, let's chat. Hey, let's
Yeah,
hop on a Zoom." You know what I mean? Like, so
right.
like I know that there's a market there, and
Hmm.
I like talking and helping people as much as I can just to
Right.
avoid the mistakes that I made. So the one mistake that I made that I pray that you don't make in your first year coming into the
Hmm.
market, dude, you can make so much content
Hmm.
based on this, right? So like you can literally go out and play 3 holes with a priest or a preacher
Hmm.
or somebody in your church that can tell you what brought them to Jesus or what brought them to the Lord, or hey, today we're talking to the most interesting Christian I know and it just happens to be on the golf course, right?
That's a good
And
idea.
so
Yeah.
and so like your content, because then what you're going to do when you put that out there, like I'm putting these videos out about starting a golf apparel brand, and guess who it's attracting? People who are trying to start a golf apparel brand. So if
Right.
you put videos out about Christian, talking to Christians, talking to golfers, talking to Christian golfers, guess who it's going to attract to your
Right.
channel? Christian golfers.
Yeah.
And guess what they're going to want to do? Now they have a face with the brand. They're going to want to support you, right?
Right.
Like
That's a good idea.
you
Yeah.
you could easily John Christ, who if you like
Hmm.
comedy and you like
Yep.
Christianity, like
Yep.
you
Yep.
you know who he is. One of the biggest comedians in the world, also a massive Christian,
Hmm.
right? And he golfs. He's a
Hmm.
massive golfer, right? Shoot him a DM every day until he says he'll play 1 hole of golf with you, right?
Yeah.
He lives in
Right.
Tennessee, so like from Ohio, that's only like a 5-6 hour drive. Like
Right. Right.
it's not impossible for you to get down there just to do 1 hole with John Chris, you know what I mean? And like come
Yeah.
up with one good question and then, and then post that, right? Like because
Right.
that's going to get views, right? So
Yeah.
the biggest thing it's you can spend a lot of money marketing or you can
Hmm.
create content around your brand. Even if it's just you making funny skits like,
Hmm.
dear God, why do you give your weakest soldiers their toughest tests? You're looking at the sky and God's like, it's a 3-footer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
just something like that. And then it
Yeah.
just cuts away to like your logo and
Yeah.
and that's it. You know what I mean? So like you
Yeah.
could really lean into this.
But yeah, I've just been like thinking like, how do I market this? Like for the hats, like I don't want to say discouraged, but I was like, man, well, why are these not moving? So I like paid for an ad on Facebook, and I you get views. And I don't think
Right.
anyone ever bought one,
Right.
whatever. So I'm like, how do I like get these polos? Because that's gonna be my bread and butter is polos. And then I want to do hoodies. Then I want to do like range. Like I want to expand, but it's my own extra cash that we're using for
Right.
this. So it's
100%.
like,
Yep.
so it's, I can't roll out 6 different products and
Right.
so it's
Nor
like,
should you. Nor should you.
yeah,
You don't
yeah,
have the bandwidth right now to support
exactly.
selling through that much. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm just trying to figure out and I thought of that too. Like, okay, like if I can get someone that knows how to do videos,
Yep.
like,
Just real quick before I forget,
yeah,
your church, is your church technologically advanced? When I say that, are they streaming on Facebook? Are they streaming
no,
online? Okay, well, here's the
old
good
school
news.
Catholics.
Perfect. Love that. I
Yeah.
love that. So
Yeah.
here's what I would say. If you go to 20 churches just around your town or within 30 minutes of your town, there's at
Hmm.
least 20 churches. One of those churches, and you can even do the research on like Facebook or online,
Okay.
is going to be technologically ahead of your
Yeah.
church as far
Yeah.
as video and stuff like that. And here's the thing, right? Like it's not the preacher that knows how to stream. They're not streaming,
Yeah.
they're not doing stuff, but somebody at that church does, whether it be an
Hmm.
intern or whether it be like a young person that just happens to go to that church. You
Yeah.
can have them be like, hey man, do you golf? Yes,
Hmm.
cool. How would you like to help me make Christian based golf content? Right.
Hmm.
And most of the time, like I'll outfit you with everything. And as soon as this starts making money, I'll make sure you
Hmm.
get some, right? And
Hmm.
so like I think that's the biggest thing is like you don't have to be good at everything, but you
Hmm.
have to find people who are, right? And
Yeah.
and that's what you need to do anytime you have a flaw or a fault. Just ship it off to somebody else because the amount of time it would take you to learn how to operate a camera and edit a video is you're better off
Exactly.
spending designing or creating or
Hmm.
you like your first Facebook ads. I'm assuming they didn't go well because they were a picture of the hat and then a text based like eating golf company, new drop
Hmm.
or something like that, right? It's not going to work, right? What you could do is like you could have you wearing the hat, and talking about just you talking to the camera.
Hmm.
I'll send you a video of my first ad that I did where I was just trying to get people to sign up for our email list. It was just me talking
Hmm.
to the camera. Hey, are you tired of overpriced golf apparel brands? Well, here's the thing. I'm trying to do, and it was just me
Hmm.
talking to the camera. We're not at launched yet, but if you click the link right below, you can go to our, VIP list. And
Right.
I mean, we went from um, zero people on the email list to like 300 in
Wow.
like 3 weeks, right? So
Wow.
like
Yeah.
it worked, right? And so
Hmm.
and so like you can do it that easily just talking to the camera and being like, "Hey, I love Jesus even though he hates my handicap," or whatever the kid, you know
Hmm.
what I mean? Or,
Yeah.
or just something like that.
Yeah.
But like, hey, if you've ever felt like you wanted to, wear your faith while you're on the golf course, just
Hmm.
you can create a short script, talk about it, show the hat, and be like, we only have a few left. We're praying,
Hmm.
we're hoping to reorder here as soon as we can, but like please make sure you grab yours today. Boom.
Yeah.
Urgency, call to action, and it's you talking to the camera.
Right.
People scroll past pictures all the time on Instagram,
Hmm.
or
Right.
Facebook or anything. They just don't
Right.
look at them anymore
Yep. Okay. That's good. Yeah.
because you're going down this niche rabbit hole.
Hmm.
It's going to be more difficult to be
Right.
bigger, but you don't have to think about content because
Hmm.
your content is what it's going to be, right?
Right.
You're never going to do a drinking challenge. You know what
Right.
I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's never going to be you.
Yeah.
But what you
Right.
can do is you can lean so hard into this, into this
Yeah.
market and into this kind of content and just put it out every single day. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
run contests, run ads, run giveaway, whatever the case is,
Yeah.
but like lean so hard into this Christian market and Christians support groups are everywhere, right? So like I'm
Yeah.
sure there's a
Right.
faith-based golf league out there somewhere in Ohio. There's probably a few,
Hmm.
and I would reach out to
Yeah.
all of them.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, so that professional golfer I talked to, him and his dad are in it's a men's group, but it's a men's Christian golf group down. I think he's out of Kentucky.
Sure.
He's like,
The
you know,
Bible
so
Belt region there is going to be big
yeah,
for
right
you.
there. So
Yeah.
like there is, you know, and that's what's hard too. I'm such in a small town where like there's not big opportunities for like, hey, there's 100 guys that get together every week and they go, you know, it's like,
Here's the good news, Austin. You say you live in a small town, dude. I grew up in a town of less than 6,000 people. With the internet, you're not in a small town. You have
true.
access to everybody. Now, here's what I would tell you. If you want to move this product really quickly,
Hmm.
and because you were talking about that, I think I just kind of came up with an idea, and you may not feel comfortable doing this, but I think take some time, at least take some time to think on this.
Okay.
Reach out to him, figure out what nights or what night that league, meets or golfs in Kentucky.
Mm.
Again, it's Kentucky from Ohio's
Yeah.
4 hours. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's
Right.
nothing, right? So you could go down there. Let's say they have 100 golfers. Let's say they have 50 golfers, right? You
Yeah.
could go down there and be like, hey, I would love to come present my brand to you guys. And now when you get down there, you talk about the brand, you talk about your faith, you talk about everything. You might sell out right then and there on the spot.
Hmm.
You may not, but what you may end up doing is you're going to network with those people in that league. And he'll be like, hey,
Hmm.
my buddy so and so plays over here on Wednesday nights, and it's a Christian based league. You
Yeah.
could literally just make your market just reaching out to these Christian based,
Yeah. Okay.
but
That's a
you
good
but
idea.
you but you got to get in front of them, right?
Yep.
Like that, like it's not an email, right? It's not a
Hmm.
text message. Like you got to get in front of them and show them like again, it's reading the Bible is not the same as going to church, right? Like
Yep.
when you go to church, you feel inspired because someone's giving it to you with inflection,
Right.
right?
Right.
And that's the biggest thing, man. Like you got to sell how much this means to you because also, in the faith-based market, there's a lot of fake people. And there's a lot of
Hmm.
fake Christians. There's a lot of people that hide behind the
Right.
Bible that you're like,
Right.
you're not, don't tell me you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
here to judge you, but don't tell me you're a Christian based on your actions, right? And
Right.
so like when people see that in you and they see how inspired you are and they see how excited you are,
Hmm.
um, I think it's just more genuine that way.
Yeah. It's a good point. Yeah.
Biggest
It's a
thing
good
though,
point.
everybody has an opportunity to buy a polo and every golfer has an opportunity to buy a hat. Why are they buying yours?
Right.
And if
Yeah.
it's like, oh, it's floral design and I like floral design, then that might be you might get a small percentage of the sales. But again, your pieces should say everything about you and your brand. Right.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
and especially when you're this niche,
Yeah.
it just has to.
Yeah. That's a good point. I
I
never
mean,
thought of it like that. Yeah.
you could do a micro print t-shirt or micro print polo of just crosses, right? And
Hmm.
I'm telling you that may sell that would sell 10 times better than just a floral print
Hmm.
because it's your message and it's you.
Right. And I've had these thoughts too.
Sure, yeah, for sure.
But I think I don't know if it's fear, a little bit of like,
100%. Yeah, you don't I mean cuz you're cuz
yeah,
cuz in your mind when you order these you're like I am limiting myself to
yeah,
such a small market. But
yeah.
guess what? I was just telling somebody else about this the other day. Did you I think it was Lynx Golf. Do you remember like LYNX golf? Like they made they made golf
Uh,
clothes, right? They made golf clubs back in like the 90s. And they had Phil Mickelson played him at the time. And they were struggling to compete against Titleist and Callaway and Ping.
oh,
And the CEO got an idea from one of the lower level executives. They're like, what if we just, because Phil Mickelson's the best left-handed golfer in the world, what
hmm.
if we just make golf clubs for left-handed people? And we'll say we are the greatest brand for left-handed golfers.
Yeah,
And the CEO was like, I'm not gonna cut off 75% of the
right.
population like that. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
Phil signs with Callaway, Lynx is out of business, right? Because
mhm.
they didn't have any names left. They
Right,
didn't have it had they had, and it might not have worked, but had they
right.
leaned into what was working for them or what their,
Hmm.
what was being seen on TV, they could have been huge. I mean, they could have
Right,
been, they could have dominated a market that no one else has ever tried to dominate.
right.
There are other faith-based golf apparel brands out
Yeah,
there,
yeah,
right? You know
yeah.
what I
Look,
mean?
yep, yep.
And look up their designs, see what
Hmm.
they're doing. Because honestly, man, like if they're not leaning super hard into the faith-based patterns and
Hmm.
designs, then guess what? You're gonna win every time.
Okay. Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah,
This is the stuff that gets me excited. Like this is
yeah,
like these are the these conversations get me
yeah.
excited because they're
It's
like,
good for me to have
dude,
these too because It's my wife's been great. I've talked to some friends and family, and what I've also noticed too is I don't know how people be like, you know what you should do?
Yeah,
Oh,
oh
tell
yeah.
me what I should do.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
it's like that kind of stuff. But
People are
like,
way okay spending your money when it's
yeah,
not, when it doesn't
yeah.
affect them, right?
But it's good having these conversations too because it's mostly like my wife and I, and she's like, yeah, I think that's a good idea, and
Dude,
it's like, oh, cool. She backs me, so but having
when
an
you're
outside looking in, telling me kind of like, hey, this is
when you're that close to a brand, or when you're that close to the idea,
Mhm.
you can't see anything but great
Exactly,
ideas, right? You
yeah,
can't see anything
right,
but how this is going to be successful. I'm telling you,
right,
dude, some of my worst ideas, some of my what I thought were my best ideas, I would tell it to somebody like, "You're an idiot," and I'm like, "Oh, you're right." And just hearing
yeah,
somebody else say that's
yeah,
stupid, you're like, "You're right. That is really
yeah,
stupid. Why would I ever do that?" But like,
yeah,
but I mean, I just don't see a way that a faith-based and I'm
hmm
not saying all your apparel has to be
yeah,
that way,
yeah,
but your staples, your four staples of polo shirts or hoodies or whatever you
hmm
want, or zip ups or quarter zips
yeah,
should be faith based, because you're
hmm
going to be able to go through a lot more of those.
okay,
You just
yeah,
are. Yeah. I
yeah,
mean, it just makes sense.
right,
And if it's cool with you, what I'd like to do is I would love to throw together a design for you just to get your juices flowing. Like, hey, if I
okay,
were to design something like this, here's what I would do. And I'll just send you that, and you can hate it. I'm not, I'll be honest.
okay,
I'm not going to spend a ton of time on it, but
yeah,
I just want you to kind of see what it could be,
yeah,
because your designs are going to be your fingerprint. And
right,
in a world where there's so many golf brands, your fingerprint matters more than anybody's.
right,
So you need to find that, right? Like
yeah,
just putting a Bible verse on a shirt, it's fine for right now because it's your first launch, and
hmm
you already did the hard part and you ordered, right? You
right,
already did the hard part. You took a leap of faith and you got apparel here. Now
hmm
you got to do the really hard part and turn this from an idea into a brand. And the
yeah,
only way you're going to do that is by really being good at designing and
yeah,
your pieces stand out.
yeah,
I think that's where you really need to crush it.
yeah, I would agree,
I
yeah,
will tell you, we have about less than a minute left before it
okay,
kicks
that's
us off
cool,
here. But I want to send you that
okay,
print, and you'll have my phone number in the email as well, dude. We're so close. We're like
yeah,
neighbors here. If you ever
yeah,
wanted to, like, I go through Ohio literally all the time for
okay,
shows and stuff like that. So I'll hit you up, man.
yeah,
I'd love to just just talk shop and sit with you, and just
let's do it,
really expand this, because I think you obviously have the passion to make this
yeah,
happen. So
right.
now we just got to steer that in the right direction.
Sounds good, man. I
Cool, man.
appreciate it.
Absolutely, dude. It was great talking
Awesome.
to you.
Yeah, you too, man.
All right, I'll
Thanks.
talk to you soon.
Yep. See ya.
All right, bye.